Hello and welcome. Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of natural history as you prepare to visit your museum. But what exactly is natural history? Natural history is like a big book where we learn about plants, animals, and other living things by simply watching and learning from them. Instead of doing experiments, we observe how they live, grow, and change. When you visit a natural history museum, you'll see exhibits that show you how animals and plants have changed over time and how they fit into their environments. It's like taking a journey through the history of life on Earth. Plus, you'll discover how humans can play a role in protecting nature. So, why should we care about natural history? Well, it's pretty important. Studying natural history helps us understand how different creatures interact with each other and their surroundings. It's like figuring out how everyone in your neighborhood gets along. We also learn about the challenges and problems that animals and plants face, which allows us to come up with ways to protect them. And as we dive into the past, we see how animals and plants have adapted and changed to survive in their homes over millions of years. But that's not all. When we study natural history, we become better thinkers. We get really good at noticing details and thinking carefully about what we see. And most importantly, we develop a deep appreciation for the beauty and the diversity of the natural world. It's like discovering a whole new world right in front of our eyes. Now, let's meet the scientists who make natural history come alive. There are many different types of scientists who study the natural world, and they all have unique jobs. First up, we have biologists. They are the experts in all things living. But within the world of biology, there are specialists like botanists who study plants, their parts, and how they grow. And then there are zoologists who dive deep into the animal kingdom, learning about their bodies, behaviors, and how they change over time. For those who are fascinated by the tiny world of insects, we have entomologists. They're like bug detectives, exploring the bodies and homes of insects. And if birds are your thing, say hello to the ornithologists. They study everything about birds, from their nests to their feathers and eggs. For those who love the world of scales and slime, there are herpetologists. These scientists focus on reptiles and amphibians like snakes and frogs. And if you're more of an ocean explorer, marine biologists dive deep into the mysteries of the ocean, studying the creatures that call it home. But our journey doesn't stop there. We have paleontologists, who are like fossil detectives, piecing together the history of life on Earth by studying ancient remains. Geologists delve into the rocks, minerals, and the Earth's ever changing story. And geographers explore the Earth's physical features and climate, helping us understand where different creatures live and why. Now let's switch gears a bit. Anthropologists focus on understanding how humans and their cultures interact with the natural world. And within anthropology, there are archaeologists who uncover the past by studying human artifacts like tools and artwork. But that's not all. We also have ecologists who delve into the complex relationships between living things and their environment, studying ecosystems, biodiversity, and the web of life. And let's not forget the environmental scientists, who are like environmental detectives, figuring out how our actions affect the environment and finding ways to keep it safe. And at a natural history museum, don't forget the curators who take care of all the amazing things you see. They make sure those treasures are preserved, accessible, and explained well. And finally, we have taxidermists who use their skills to make animals look like they're still alive so we can learn from them without harming living creatures. So, with such a diverse team of scientists, you can imagine the incredible discoveries waiting for you at a natural history museum. But how do these scientists actually learn about animals and plants? Well, they use a variety of methods. First, they go out into the wild and collect specimens, which are like real life treasures. They carefully note where and when they found these specimens, and some even take pictures or videos to capture the creatures in their natural habitats. Once they have these specimens, they make sure to keep them safe. They might dry them out, freeze them, or keep them in special containers with liquids to preserve them. Now it's time for the fun part. Scientists use tools like microscopes to take a closer look at their specimens. They also might do special tests to learn even more about them. It's like being a detective examining the clues that these creatures leave behind. And here's the best part. Scientists don't keep all this amazing knowledge to themselves. No, they share it with other scientists and the rest of us. They write research papers, they give talks, and create museum displays to share their knowledge and inspire others. Now, I want to share with you some important ideas that will help you understand things better when you are at the museum. Let's travel back in time a bit. All living things have been around for a long, long time, and we divide these times into three parts: the Paleozoic, the Mesozoic, and the Cenozoic. The Paleozoic era was the dawn of life on Earth, happening around 540 to 250 million years ago. During this time, simple living things became more complex. Fish, reptiles, and insects made their grand entrance. But sadly, this era ended with a big event that caused harm to many animals. Next, we have the Mesozoic era, which is often called the Age of Dinosaurs. It lasted from 250 to 66 million years ago. Dinosaurs were the real stars of the show during this time. The first birds and mammals also made their debut. Unfortunately, this era ended with another event that hurt many animals, including the dinosaurs. Finally, we arrive at the Cenozoic era, which started 66 million years ago and continues to this day. This era is known as the Age of Mammals, where mammals, like us, took center stage. And guess what? This is the time we're still living in right now. Let's shift our focus now to the amazing diversity of animals and plants on our planet. Animals can be divided into two main groups: invertebrates and vertebrates. Invertebrates are animals that don't have a backbone. Examples include insects, spiders, snails, and jellyfish. On the other hand, vertebrates are animals with a backbone. They're like the superheroes of the animal world, equipped with an internal skeleton to support them. Examples of vertebrates include fish, birds, reptiles like lizards and snakes, and mammals like dogs and, yes, humans. Now, let's take a look at the plant kingdom. Plants are divided into four main types. Mosses are simple plants without real roots or leaves. They reproduce by making spores. Ferns do have roots, leaves, and stems, but they also reproduce using spores. Gymnosperms have roots, stems, and scale or needle-like leaves. They produce cones with seeds, like pine trees. Angiosperms are the flowering plants we see all around us. They have roots, stems, leaves, and beautiful flowers. They also are found inside, seeds are found inside fruits. Each type of plant and animal also owns unique features and adaptations that help them thrive in different environments. Understanding these differences enable us to appreciate the incredible diversity of the natural world. So there you have it. You've just gotten a taste of what natural history is all about. Armed with this knowledge, you're now ready to embark on your adventure at the museum. Enjoy exploring the wonders of the natural world and remember that there's always more to discover.